The room Yin was in was very dark. The girl currently laying on the mat like sleeping designed that was called a futon. The space had paper sliding doors leading out, and the floor was covered in tatami mats, shadow casing the architectural structure of the traditional Japanese home. The older couple was lying in the next room over, having gracefully allowed her to stay with them through the entire day and night to recuperate. She didn't understand. She knew that in her subconsciousness that she did, but she truly didn't want to believe it. Demons. Just the sheer thought of their existence. It's just too crazy. Rolling over in her sleep, she tried to push on the events from her mind, at last for the night so she could sleep. But her restless spirit kept tugging at her to try and find out where she was and how she ended up here. But how can I then explain that monster? Demon. Curling herself in a fetal position, she eventually drifted off into sleep. Unfortunately, not even an hour later, she was woken up by the sound of harsh sounds of two shrill screams that made her blood bolt upwards. Once again, a cold sweat dripped down her back from the sheer horror that laced their voice. She knew it was a couple. She knew that monster, no, a demon came back. Breathing heavily in terror, Yin shakily stood and began to hurriedly shrug off the nightwear given to her and then pull on her old clothes of sweatshirt, leggings, and running shoes, bolting out of the back door after fumbling around for a while. Thankfully, yet horrid that the demon or demons were accompanied. She hoped she had a chance to escape, running even though her mind warned with her to go back and try and save the elderly couple. But she knew it was too late. From how short their screams were cut off, it was most likely that the demon or demons slashed their throats or stopped their hearts immediately. I can't allow myself to end up like that. Even though the forest was a place that held those nightmarish creatures she had come to know were real, she entered anyway, hoping that there was somewhere that could cover her enough to escape the demon that was stalking her. I need to survive. I need to live. I need to get home. Oh, that was disappointing. Yin's eyes widened, her teeth gritting as a shock of fear coursed through her veins, paralyzing her even though she stood hiding behind a tree. There was only an old man and a woman there, though I was sure I smelled a younger, fresher human. The same voice declared, and from the demon's pitch and tone, Yin decided that it was a demon, and the female one at that. Well, we'll find a beautiful human for us, sis. Though never will any be as beautiful as you. A different, raspy voice declared. Naturally. Yin swallowed thickly, her fingers scratching at the bark as she tried to maintain her calm facade and keep her emotions in check. Despite the ever-approaching duel of terror with those two voices. This isn't the same demon that attacked me earlier, especially if there's two now. Shit! How did I get into this mess? What is it, Daki? Gitaru, the female voice now known as Daki, declared almost ethereal. I smell that young human again. That delicate blood is nearby. I want to feed on that blood so badly. I can sense it too. The male demon known as Gitaru answered. Now I know why you were so adamant on attacking that house. The smell is absolutely intoxicating. We know you're there, human, Taki called. Come out, wherever you are. We promise not to kill you too painfully if you do. Yin blinked. Fuck. Breathing in deeply, she tried to calm the rapid beating of her heart, resting one hand against her chest as she did so. There's no way I can outrun these two. Like the last demon, they'd mostly probably toy with me if I tried to run, so how do I get out with this? Oh, there you are. In a split second, Yin felt the blood freeze in her veins upon seeing someone right beside her, her gaze lighting to the corner of her eyes to spot a highly beautiful demon. She had veins that sprawled from her scalp of pure white and green hair, eyes that held an unnatural lime tint, with ruby red lips. Both her breasts are barely contained by a small bra, her lower region then only covered by lace underwear that truly made the outfit anything other than prominence, was how her obi surrounded her like a snake, withering and moving as if they had their own mind. And there, she had blood stains on her hands. After that split second of meeting Daki's eyes, Yin was then thrown into the snow, the cold shocking her and making her let out a choked gasp. So weak you humans are. Daki shook her head in both her disgust and disappointment as she stared down at Yin, seemingly unaffected by the cold even with how much skin she showed. What? Yin breathed out, barely able to form a word since the air was practically forced out of her. This demon. I know her. How do I know her? Glancing to the side, she almost let out a shriek when a smiling face appeared, only a mere inches away from hers. The owner letting out an almost psychopathic laugh. The demon had unnaturally grit skin that clenched at its waist like a skeleton, and pitch black hair also tinted green at the ends, tumbling in curls on his shoulders, his dark eyes slanted and peeking out from his messy bangs. I know this demon too. How? Where am I? Now, little human, Ducky taunted, crouching down to clench Yin's chin between her fingers, her long nails digging into her skin. Hold still so I can devour you. But you're not as pretty as I would have thought. Inhaling deeply, her long eyelashes fluttered as her expression shifted into one of pure and utter ecstasy, and then exclaimed, but that blood of yours is truly tempting. Make sure to leave some for me, sis, Gitaru reminded, only receiving a dismissive wave. I want to let you know that I'm still irritated that you devoured that last human all by yourself. Of course, brother, Taki smiled, her fangs glistening in the light. But just so you know, I might not be able to stop myself. As Yin looked back and forth between the two, struggling against Daki's obi grip, it suddenly came over her. It was as if a light bulb suddenly went off in her mind that allowed her to come to the very horrible realization that made her question her very reality and sanity. I'm in Demon Slayer, and I'm going to die. It's time for a Tokugawa era secret. Yin's blood was highly potent since she is entirely from a different world, really. However, is vastly different from Riichi blood. Daki and Gitaru were traveling back to Yoshiwara's red light district when they caught the scent of Yin's blood despite being far from her location, immediately choosing to follow it because of the smell. Daki and Gitaru didn't consume the elderly couple, instead just killing them partly because, well, they weren't beautiful enough, and partly because They were just in the way. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. See you tomorrow.